During the early 1970s, singer-songwriter Kim Jung Mi emerged as one of the most notable musical exports from South Korea. And from her 1973 album Wind, the track Memory.
수많은 추억에 세월은 흘러서
I like the minor keys and how her vocals just kind of stretch out over each bar.
스며든 그리움 마음에 남았나 지금은 이곳에 떠나고 없지만
Yeah, and I like how her vocals land like on the thirds and fifths quite often, amid like the really quaint production of this, the kind of brittle sound to it all.
두고 간 사랑이 기억에 남았나 하루는 그리움에 마음만 울리네
We're using like volume here to give kind of like a rising, swelling quality at the chorus, for in lieu of much instrumental buildup, and but it works. I mean, we have a little bit of like strings added, but just a little to like the rather simple organ guitar arrangement that had been going on.
사랑은 왔다가 어디로 가는가 지나간 추억만 여기에 남았나
No, I like how that solo, how the organ is fleshing out the melody with that tone, that kind of quaint tone, even for its time, as the strings, swell up even more and take more of a foreground.
지금은 이곳에 떠나고 없지만 두고 간 사랑이 기억에 남았나 하루는
That's basically D minor, no, A minor to D minor to G to C is basically the progression. Hear that little woodwind going on in there, like accenting as it lands on C. Right here, it's going from A minor to C, and as it lands on C, there's that kind of almost like spaghetti western sounding woodwind there. I'm thinking like a soundtrack. I say spaghetti western. I'm thinking like soundtrack work from that time. It.
두고 간 사랑에 기억이 남나 하늘은 그리우며 눈만 울리나 사랑은 어떨까 어디로 가는가
The power of this climactic section is really just based on the rising volume and like intensity of the singing and the playing.
지나간 추억만 여기에 남았나
Yeah, a track that didn't use too many chords over the span of like 5.5 minutes, but it managed to be quite effective and become more compelling as it went along, just due to the rising intensity of it all. And as the repetitions sank in and the excitement, the intensity was all, and the momentum was all just built on becoming more full and just louder. And let's hear another track from the album. The track, I think it's going to be, I'll just play it and then find out as I go along. I'll get the translation.
이래 봐도 내 마음 곱다오 이래 봐도 내 마음 곱다오
Very different arrangement than the last one. Much more of a prominent guitar on this one, and once again, kind of brittle in tone, slightly quaint, you could say.
그렇게도 내 마음을 모르고 그대는 널 알고 있나 봐 내 마음 곱다오
I like that nuance right there with the harmonies coming in, giving kind of like a haunting quality.
아름다운 꽃밭에 앉아서 아름다운 꽃밭에 앉아서 날아가는 나비를 바라보며 내 마음은 노래를 부르네 내 마음은 곱다오 파랗게 솟아나는 잔디 위에 파랗게 솟아나는 잔디 위에
This is track 9 from the album, which the title translates to "My Heart is Beautiful."
홀로 즐겁게 걸어가면 머리 위에 새들이 모여드네
some good use of like flats in there. We just heard here. I'll trace. We just went from B flat to A minor. I'll trace the rest of the progressions. I go
아침에 찾아오는 한명도
D minor,
아침에 찾아오는 한명도
C,
눈앞에 내 모습이 보이면
B flat,
싱글벙글 나를 보고 웃어주네 내 마음은 곱다워
I like that change right there. That sequence of chords. Yeah. Her vocals are both like sensual and mournful simultaneously. Even though I can't quite, those are the two moods I'm getting. Even though I only know the title, and that just choice sequence at the what appears to be the chorus of the track is it gives the song kind of an angularity, like amid the melodic arc that holds. Despite the relative simplicity of the primary chord sequence throughout the track,
이래봐도 내 마음은 곱다워 이래봐도 내 마음은 곱다워
little details like that guitar bit right there, just everything counts.
그렇게도 내 마음을 모르고 그대는 오해하고 있나 봐 내 마음은 곱다워
God, I love those ghostly, those like haunting background vocals. They just give the song so much.
이래봐도 내 마음은 곱다워 이래봐도 내 마음은 곱다워
Yeah, swelling up toward the end like that. Yeah, I just her voice really is quite full over the arrangements and rarely lets up, and it just all everything counts in a track like this. I mean, despite the limitations and the sonic limitations, they actually work those any like shortcomings that they may have had in the studio in terms of recording equipment for the time, they work that to their advantage. The brittleness, the quaintness of it all becomes like a benefit, becomes like an aesthetic, benefit to the proceedings, because the fullness, the intensity of her voice rises above it all, and the what they do have instrumentally, the guitar in this case, and like the strings in the track preceding, they lend to they add to the quaintness that gives this kind of music sort of this far away time and place vibe that when you listen you're just transported elsewhere. It could be like wandering through, it's just like tuning into a foreign movie from this time period, or wandering through a foreign antique shop, and you know that the moment that the track begins, you know that you're being transported elsewhere, away from the present, and that's what gives music like this its quaintness and charm. Yeah, that was Kim Jung Mi, 2 tracks from her 1973 album Wind, apparently her 4th overall, and she would record 5 albums in the span of just like 2 years, and then another in the later part of the decade. And yeah, born in 1953 in Seoul, and so around 20 at the time of this recording. Yeah, very gifted performer from a nation that admittedly uh, didn't produce a lot of music that has made it westward anyway. At least not in comparison to Japan. But then again, what do we know out west? Maybe a lot of it is still being hidden from us. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Kim Jung Mi, see the directory of albums from Far Eastern artists, linked in the description below, for red hot tracks and tasty purples from Kim Jung Mi and a half a dozen other artists from South Korea, and much more overwhelmingly, hundreds upon hundreds of artists from Japan, as well as a few from Indonesia and the Philippines. Over 800 titles strong currently, 95% of them being from Japan. Like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about these two tracks, the instrumentation, and I guess most importantly the vocals and the chord sequences and the overall mood of it all. And if you could understand the lyrics, then please share if there are any truly profound messages to be taken from either of these tracks. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled tram maximalist, signing off.